Hi Nana. In our previous video, we learned uh, some methods. Okay, some methods of extraction of metals from the ore. We have learned the extraction of metal belonging to top of the activity series, and the extraction of the metal belonging to middle of the activity series. We learned. Now, in this video, we will learn some more concepts. We'll continue with the extraction of the metals which are placed at the bottom of the activity series. So metals from mercury onwards, okay, which are placed at the bottom of the activity series, how to obtain from their ores. See, actually, these metals or the bottom of the activity series, these metals, they are occur in the free state. They occur in free state in the nature. They occur in the free state in the nature. See, they react. I mean, they react their reactivity with other atoms is very low. Okay, that means they do not, or else reactivity with the other atoms. If other atoms is low, example, mercury with oxygen, mercury oxide. So here the bond between mercury and oxygen is very weak, so that it can be broken easily. The bond can be broken easily, so that the mercury metal can be separated from its ore very easily, because this mercury, it forms a very weak bond with oxygen. So that means this mercury want to be in free state instead of want to be in combined state. That mercury want to be in the free state only. Okay, that is why that mercury will always readily want to convert into mercury metal. Even by simple heating also, even if you heat this ore to a lower temperature also, or else even by simple heating, that means without using any reducing agent, even if you heat this ore, okay, it will readily break down and convert into its metal. That means it will undergo reduction very easily even upon simple heating. Okay, as their reactivity with other atoms is very low, so the ores of these metals can be reduced to metals by heating alone. By heating alone, I mean here the extraction of metals, it is of two types. There are two methods we can use. One is by heating alone. By heating alone, that means without adding any reducing agent, simply if you heat it directly, that metal can be obtained. Okay, these ores can be converted into, these ores can be reduced into metals without using any reducing agents. Simply heat alone can convert these ores into their metals. Okay, or else by displacement, displacement by using aqueous solutions. Actually, because of their less reactivity, okay, so the metals which are placed at the bottom of the activity series, they can be obtained from the ores upon simple heating, that means heating alone, or else by the displacement of the metal from their aqueous solutions using highly reactive method. Highly reactive metals. Okay, that means by this method, or else by simple heating also, we can extract these metals. Okay, for example, For example, mercuric sulfide is there. So as it is sulfide metal, so we have to convert into oxide metal. Okay, upon heating in the presence of oxygen, so this will convert into oxide metal and sulfur dioxide gas is released. Now upon continuous heating, what happens? This, okay, it is converted into, it is reduced to mercury metal. That means it breaks down into mercury metal and oxygen. Okay, that means it is a decomposition reaction. Okay, that mercury oxide is decomposed to mercury metal upon heating. So this is one method, and the other method is displacement of the metal from their aqueous solution. So now we learn this method. So this is simple heating. Okay. Suppose if these metals are in their aqueous solutions, for example, aqueous solution of silver sulfide, when it is dissolved in potassium cyanide, in solvents like potassium cyanide solution, so what happens? So here this one, the metal will convert into complex ions. Argentate 1. Dicyanoargentate 1. Okay. Because every cyanide is -1. That means here 2 cyanides are there, -2, and silver will be +1. So overall there will be minus charge on the complex ion. So now this is called as complex ion. Okay. So potassium sulfide is formed along with this. Okay. Potassium sulfide, right? Potassium iodide. Here K. So 2K. So this is the substance formed. Actually, this is ionic compound, complex ionic compound. It will ionize into Ag, Cn taken twice, minus ions, and K plus ions. Okay. So now this is the aqueous solution of the salt of least reactive metal. Okay, this is the when it is dissolved in some suitable solvents like potassium cyanide. So this metal, the least reactive metal, it is made to convert into complex ion. Now from this complex ion, that metal can be extracted very easily by using highly reactive metals. See into this solution. See now this is a solution. In this solution, silver dicyano argentate 1. So this is called as dicyano argentate 1. Dicyano argentate 1. Dicyano argentate 1 ion is formed. Okay, now this ion, or else the metal from this complex ion, this is a complex ion. So the metal from this complex ion can be displaced by using highly reactive metals. Okay. Okay, now this metal, the low reactive metal can be displaced by highly reactive metal, because in this solution this the less reactive metal is in the complex ion form. So when zinc powder is added, when I mean here, when compared to silver, zinc is highly reactive. That means when any metal which is placed above this metal silver in the from the activity series, okay, from the activity series, any metal which is above the this silver or else mercury, so if those metals are added into this solution, now these metals will be highly reactive metal. Okay, so what happens, this zinc powder will displace the silver. Zinc powder will displace the silver from this argentocyanide one, okay, dicyanoargentate one, okay. And what happened, this metal will be displaced by zinc. That means zinc will sit in the place of silver, okay. And silver metal, it is obtained. That means the silver metal is displaced from the salt of its ore, okay, by highly reactive metals. That means displacement of the metal from their aqueous solutions using highly reactive metal. So this metal is displaced from its aqueous solution, okay, by using highly reactive metal, and finally this metal is converted into metal, I mean silver metal. That means that metal is obtained from its ore, okay. So in this way the metals can be the metals which are placed at the bottom of the activity series can be obtained from their ore, okay. So the next step after extraction of the crude metal from the ore, the next step is purification of crude metal. So far we have learnt the method of removal of impurities from the ore, that means ore crushing, and the extraction of the crude metal from the ore. After extraction of the metal from the ore, the metal obtained, it is in the crude form. That means it is associated with some impurities. Okay, some impurities are contaminated with the with that metal. That metal is contaminated with some impurities. What are the impurities which are present along with the crude metal? Maybe some unchanged ore. That means some of the ore will remain without undergoing reduction. So that ore will be present along with the this crude metal. Okay, or else some other metals may be present as the impurity along with this metal, or else some non-metals from the anion may also be present as the impurity. So these are some of the impurities which are present with the metal. Hence that metal is not a pure metal, it is called as a crude metal. So now we have to purify, we have to refine. Okay, we have to refine, or else refining of the crude metal into pure metal. Okay, for example, if you take blister copper, crude metal, that means blister copper is a impure copper, it is a crude copper. See, actually this blister copper, it is obtained from the ore known as copper iron pyrites. Copper iron pyrites, from copper iron pyrites ore. Okay, so this blister copper is obtained by the method of extraction of crude metal from the ore. So this is ore, from this ore, this is metal. Okay, this is crude metal. Okay, now this crude metal which is obtained from the this ore, it is called as blister copper. Why do we call it as blister copper? Because it is having some impurities. Okay, it contains some impurities like copper sulfide, okay, iron and sulfur as the impurities. So these are the impurities. This is a non-metal, this is a metal, and this is some more left over. Okay. So here we have to remove these impurities from the copper. Actually, blister copper is nothing but copper plus impurity. Copper metal plus impurities. So these impurities we have to remove these impurities. So what are the impurities present in this copper? This copper is having some impurities. Hence, this copper is called as blister copper. So this blister copper is purified by suitable methods. Okay. So here the method of purification of crude metal, okay, or else the conversion of crude metal into pure metal is said to be purification or else refining of metal. So refining of the metals, okay, can be done in several ways. There are several methods of purification of crude metal depending upon the nature of the metal, okay, and nature of the impurities. It is also called as refining of crude metal. So the refining, it is of several processes, okay, it's of different methods depending upon the method, like methods like distillation, or liquefaction, or polling, or as electrolytic refining. Okay, so these are different methods which are these are purification methods. Okay, this the I mean the method which we use for the refining of a particular metal, it depends upon the nature of the metal and the nature of the impurities associated with the metal. For example, if you take a blister copper, so what are the impurities present in the blister copper? Copper sulfide, iron and sulfur. So here, based on the nature of the metal and nature of the impurities, so we may use either polling or else electrolytic refining method, okay, to purify this blister copper into pure copper. Okay, so like this, that means depending upon the nature of the metal and the nature of the impurities present, different methods we may different methods are designed. So we will learn all these methods. Already we have seen these methods in our previous videos. Once again we will discuss these methods. So first of all, we will discuss distillation method. See, distillation method is used when the metal have low boiling point Okay, and impurities have high boiling point. Okay, this method is used, okay, to purify the metals, particularly the metals like zinc, okay, zinc, mercury, etc. So these metals are highly volatile. They can be easily volatile metals. Easily volatile. These metals are easily volatile metals. So what happens? If you heat these metals to high temperatures, what happens? These metals, they will convert into vapors, and the impurities, they remain in the solution only. For example, I have taken crude form of zinc. Okay, zinc metal. So here the molten zinc along with the impurities. The molten zinc along with the impurities. Molten zinc plus impurities. That means it is crude form of the zinc. When it is heated, what happens? So impurities having a high boiling point, they cannot boil or they cannot turn into vapors. But mercury or zinc being having low boiling point, so these mercury or else these zinc vapors, okay, this zinc will convert into vapors, okay, and these vapors are sent into another container. So here these vapors, while passing to another container, what happened here? One condenser is kept. So condenser will cool the zinc vapors into solid form of the zinc, or else a liquid form of the zinc. So finally what we'll get? So here we'll get only zinc, which is pure form of the zinc. This is impure zinc or else crude zinc, and this is purified zinc. This process is said to be distillation, where the here impurities are left over in here only. Okay, impurities having high boiling point, so they do not convert into vapors, but the zinc is having less boiling point, hence it convert into vapors, and the zinc vapors are collected. Okay, they are condensed, and finally the molten form of zinc is obtained. Okay, so in this way zinc is purified. Okay, the extracted metal in the molten state is distilled. Okay, the metal is in the molten state, it is distilled off. Okay, to obtain the pure metal as distillate. So this is called as distillate. Distillate. What is distillate? The solution which is obtained, or is the substance which is obtained due to distillation. Okay, the pure substance which is obtained due to distillation process is said to be distillate. Okay, in this way distillation method helps us to purify the low boiling point metals having low boiling points, when the impurities are having high boiling point. So which metals can be used for this purpose? Zinc. Okay, I mean this method is used for the purification of metals like zinc and mercury. Okay, right. We learn the next method. What is the next method? Liquefaction. So this method is used when the metal is having low melting point. When metal is having low melting point and impurities have high melting point, this liquefaction method is used. So here in this method there is a slopy surface. On the slopy surface the metal, the crude metal is kept. Okay, so crude metal, and if it is heated, it is heated to very high temperatures. Entire surface is heated to very high temperatures. So this low P surface, it is made up of some refractory materials. Refractory material means the material which can withstand high temperatures. So when this slopy surface is heated, at the top the impure metal or else the crude metal is kept. What happens? So the metal is having low melting point and impurities have high melting point. So metal will melt because of its low melting point. Metal will melt and the metal will flow down and it is collected at the bottom. So what is happening here? It is crude metal. It is crude metal, but at the bottom we will collect what? Pure metal. So the impurities will remain here only. The impurities will remain on the surface, slopy surface only, but the crude metal will flow. Finally, we'll convert into, that pure metal will flow, and finally we'll get the pure metal. That means crude metal is converted into pure metal by this method. So which metals are generally purified by this method? So metals like bismuth, tin, lead, and even mercury also. Even mercury also can be purified by this method, liquefaction method. Okay, right. The next method is Pohling method. Well, it is a old method. Particularly, it is designed to purify the crude form of the copper. It is an old method. Old method designed for copper, for purification of crude copper. See, in this method, what happens? The metal, a molten metal we have to take. Okay, the molten metal, it is stirred with the green logs, log poles or green wood. Okay, this is log, green logs, log. Okay, wood log means a piece of wood. Okay, it is called as a log. Okay, actually we have to take these logs, which is green wood. Green wood. It is green. It should be green. That means it should not be dried. When it is not dried, it is green in color. Okay, we'll take the green wood with green wood poles or else green wood logs or poles, and we'll stir this. We will stirring. We'll start agitating or stirring this molten metal. What happens? The impurities are removed. So what here the metal will remain here only, but the impurities, they are removed in the form of gases. Impurities are removed in the form of gas. They will convert into gas. We have to heat. We have to heat this. We have to keep on heating. The heating is continued. We have to keep this metal in the molten state. To keep the metal in the molten state, we have to heat this continuously, and we have to stir this molten metal with the logs, green logs, with the green logs. So during this process, what happens? Some gases, some reducing gases are evolved from these logs. So these rocks evolve some reducing gases. Some reducing gases are evolved from these logs. Okay, so these they will. So here these reducing gases, they react with the impurities, and the impurities are either converted into gases or else they oxidize and form scum. Some of the impurities are converted into gases, are removed in the form of gases, or else some of the impurities they are converted into oxides. Some of the impurities will convert into oxides, which are oxides of lightweight. Okay, and they say, they will move to the top over the surface of the molten metal because of their less weight. They will float. They will float, and in the form of slag. It is called as slag. What is slag? Slag is nothing but the impurities are converted into slag. Slag is a material, a fusible material, okay, which is obtained from the impurities. Okay, the impurities are converted into slag, and it will float on the molten metal. So below this one, it is molten metal. It is what? Molten metal. So above the molten metal, the slag will float. What is slag? Impurities are converted into oxides of into their oxides, and they are collected at the top of the molten metal in the form of slag. That slag will float on this. Slowly, we will remove this slag. Okay, finally, after removal of the slag, what we will get? We will get the metal in the pure form. Before that, there was impurities. Okay, before the stirring this molten metal, there are impurities in the molten metal, and due to the stirring of this molten metal with green logs, some of the impurities are converted into gases, and some of the impurities are converted into their oxide ores. Into their oxides, and they will float on the molten metal, and finally the molten metal from the molten metals all the impurities are removed, and we'll get the pure form of the metal. See, particularly blister copper is purified. Blister copper is purified by this method. Okay, SLAG is slag. See, there is a chance of oxidation of this copper. See, actually copper. So this particular method is used mainly for copper. So there is a chance of oxidation of copper to copper oxide. Oxidation of copper to copper oxide. So what happens? These reducing gases, what do they do? They simply react with this copper oxide, and finally this copper oxide is converted to copper. So this reducing gases which are evolved from the wood prevents the oxidation of copper. So finally the copper, it is prevented. That means the copper is obtained in its copper form only, and this process and the conversion of that means this oxidation of copper is prevented by using reducing gas. That means again we will get back this copper metal. So initially when if copper is oxidized to copper oxide, these reducing gases will help this help to convert this copper oxide into copper back. So like this, Poling method is one of the method to purify the metals, particularly the blister copper. Okay, to purify the blister copper. So the last method is electrolytic refining method. Electrolytic refining method. So in this method we use the electrolyte electrolyte. What electrolyte we use? We have to use the electrolyte acidified solution. Okay, acidified salt solution of this uh, metal. So the metal which we are going to refine, so it's a salt solution. For example, if you want to, this method is suitable for copper, zinc, etc. Okay, so here in this method, if you want to purify copper, then we have to take electrolyte. So copper sulfate as the electrolyte. Okay, copper lead solution as the electrolyte, and it is acidified solution. Acidified solution of copper sulfate. Acidified copper sulfate solution, it acts as electrolyte. Suppose if you want to take, if you want to purify zinc, then we have to take acidified zinc sulfate as a solution. So we will discuss by taking copper. Okay, so copper sulfate, acidified copper sulfate will be the electrolyte, and anode. Anode. So anode means it is impure or else crude metal. Impure metal or else crude metal will act as anode. And cathode. What is cathode? The same metal. The same metal here. Okay, the same metal. Anode should be made up of impure copper or else blister copper. Okay, cathode should be made up of, it should be made up of pure copper. Both anode and cathode are made up of same metal, and even the electrolyte is also having the solution of the same metal, the salt solution of the same metal. It is negative terminal, positive terminal, it is cathode, it is anode. Generally anode rod, anode metal, impure metal should be taken in large amounts. It should be very thick, and the pure metal, cathode, pure metal. So this cathode is made up of pure copper, and this anode is made up of impure copper. It should be thick, and this one should be very thin strip. So the electrolyte used should be what? Acidified copper sulfate solution. Acidified copper sulfate solution. Upon starting the electrolytic process, what happens? So this copper sulfate solution, from this copper sulfate solution, the ions are produced. Okay, ions are produced. So the copper ions which are positive in charge, okay, they are cations, they will move towards cathode. So these copper ions will move towards cathode. At cathode, what happens? These copper ions will take electrons at cathode, because this cathode is a negative electrode. As cathode is negative electrode, it attracts the positive ions present in the electrolyte. So which ions are positive ions? Copper ions are the positive ions. So these copper ions are attracted by the cathode, and these copper ions will take electrons from the cathode, because cathode is in rich of electrons. It is a negative electrode, hence it can provide electrons to the cations. Okay, so what happens? This copper ion is reduced to copper metal. Copper ion is reduced to copper metal at the cathode. Okay, so the cations will move towards the cathode. So cation means here copper ions. So copper ions will move towards the cathode, and they get a discharge at cathode. So what happens? This copper ions from the electrolytic bath means What is the meaning of bath? Electrolyte bath, or else electrolyte solution. It is nothing but electrolyte bath or electrolyte. It's a solution. So the copper ions will get deposited on this cathode as a pure metal. So the pure copper is deposited on this cathode. Okay, after some time what happened? The anode, the amount of the anode will decrease. Because why the anode is decreased? Because here the copper ions from the solution it is taken by this cathode, and due to this the amount of copper ions will decrease in the solution. So at the same time, from anode, this anode is made up of impure copper. So at anode what happens? At anode, the copper material, so actually anode, it is made up of copper material. So the copper from the anode, it loses electrons. It loses electrons and converts into copper ions, and these copper ions, they leave the anode surface and enter into the solution. So that already the solution has lost its copper ions to the cathode. Now the same number of copper ions are produced from the anode. That means the electrolyte is recharged with the copper ions again from the cathode. So because at anode, from the anode. So at anode, what happens? Anode is a positive electrode. Anode is always a positive electrode. Hence, it takes electrons from the copper metal, and copper metal is converted into copper ion. So this copper metal, as it is converted into copper ion, so that copper metal will enter into the solution as copper ion. So that means some amount of copper is lost from the anode. So gradually what happens? The thickness of the anode decreases. Okay, the thickness of the anode decreases, and finally anode will become very thin rod. So what happens during this process? During this process, the copper is converted into copper ions and enter into the electrolyte, and the impurities which are present as anode, and anode is made up of impure copper. So the impurities are of two types. Okay, the impurities which are associated with the anode, they are two types: soluble impurities are of two types: soluble impurities and insoluble impurities. Okay, soluble impurities will dissolve in the electrolyte, whereas insoluble impurities, they do not dissolve in the electrolyte. Simply they will settle at the bottom. Some impurities are settled at the bottom of the anode. Hence these impurities is said to be mud. As it is formed below the anode, it is called as anode mud. Okay, anode mud. So what is anode mud? Anode mud is nothing but the impurities which are collected, the insoluble impurities which are collected below the at the bottom of the anode is said to be anode mud. Okay. The soluble impurities goes into the solution, whereas insoluble impurities from the blister copper. So this is what blister copper. Actually anode is made up of impure copper, means blister copper. Impure copper means blister copper. So the impurities from the blister copper, the insoluble impurities from the blister copper get deposited. Okay, they get deposited at the bottom of the anode as anode mud. So this anode mud contains what? Some elements like antimony, selenium, tellurium, silver, gold. Okay, antimony, selenium, tellurium, silver, gold, and platinum. So these are the impurities obtained when during the purification of copper. So during the purification of zinc, the impurities may differ. So we are discussing this electrolytic refining method based on the copper. So here hence the anode should be made up of impure copper, that means blister copper, and cathode should be made up of pure copper. Okay, and electrolyte should be acidified copper sulfate solution, copper sulfate or else copper chloride, or else any salt of copper may be used as the electrolyte. Okay, got it. Now these impurities, I mean these are the metals, insoluble metals, which are obtained at the bottom of the anode. Okay, as anode mud. Okay, these I mean here we cannot recover these metals because the cost of recovery of these metals, it is almost equal to the entire process of electrolysis. The recovery of these elements may meet the cost of entire refining. So that is why, so here these metals, it is, to recover these metals from the anode mud, it is somewhat difficult. Okay, so like this, the electrolytic refining method, okay, it is also one of the purification method. So far we have learnt different types of purification methods. One is distillation, another one is liquefaction, another one is polling, next it is electrolytic refining. So in all these, I mean by all these methods, we'll finally get one pure metal. So this method, or else this this is the last stage of extraction of I mean it is the last stage of metallurgy, where the crude metal is purified and finally we'll get pure metal, and we will use that pure metal for our I mean use for different purposes. Okay, so in this way the metallurgy can be finished. Okay, in the next video we will learn some more concept related to this metallurgy.